Did you know that there's an antelope in North America? I'm just kidding. It's actually closer related to a giraffe. Hello, and welcome to episode 114 of the Planet Zoo Experience, and today we're talking about one of the most slept on animals in North America, the pronghorn. Also known as the pronghorn antelope, the American antelope, the prairie antelope, it actually only looks like an antelope. This majestic creature is actually closer related to giraffes, as I stated, though it is quite far off from even that. It also has a few interesting quirks that make it a very unique specimen of an animal. And, while I am going to talk about it, before we get too far, let's talk about how the pronghorn came to be. Well, they most likely evolved 19 million years ago in North America itself. One of the few similarities they have with antelopes is the absolute lack of evolutionary understanding, unfortunately. Though, that doesn't mean we don't have exotic and unique cousins that we can't talk about. While the modern and last surviving pronghorn have those iconic namesake horns, some of the older species got a little creative. For example, Stockoceras, an interesting spin-off that decided, why have two horns that split off into prongs when you just have four horns? Or Tetrameryx, who believed bigger is absolutely better, mimicking a horn structure somewhat akin to an oryx. But the family of extinct pronghorns also swung the other way, with Capromeryx, the smallest of all known species, only standing 24 inches tall. In comparison, the modern breed stands at roughly 2.7 to 3.4 feet tall. Now, what are some of the key attributes that make me feel that this goat antelope is slept on more than it should? Well, let's start from the top with their horns. The pronghorn is the only animal that sheds their horns. Now, if you're confused, don't worry. While almost all animals with antlers shed once a year, no other animal with horns shed those. You see, antlers are grown from a deer from a space above the skull that is not directly connected. They often branch out and become bony structures and are meant for mating season to attract others and to, fight off opponents. When the season ends, the antler tends to fall off, while horns are permanent structures attached directly to the skull and cannot be lost in any healthy manner. While antlers can be used in combat with predators, it's not really the best at doing so, since how they are meant to fall off. Horns, on the other hand, are great at it. So why do pronghorns shed their horns? Simple. They got the best of both worlds. Pronghorns have horns directly attached to their skull, but they look like this. But they grow a keratin sheath around it as the pronghorn grows. This will lead to them losing their sheath every once in a while, kind of like how a snake will shed its skin. In addition to their distinct domed core, they have somewhat protruding eyes that actually help them see in 320-degree vision. And if being both armed and vigilant aren't enough to impress you, what if I told you they are the second fastest runners on Earth at a whopping 55 miles per hour? Now, while the cheetah does beat it in pure speed, topping out at 60 to 75 miles per hour, they only tend to be able to hold that for about 20 to 30 seconds. The pronghorn can step it up for a whopping 2 straight hours. Culturally speaking, the pronghorn has a pretty good legacy, though whether with native tribes or modern conservation, they usually get overshadowed by the bison. But they definitely have their own following. For instance, the Blackfoot people of Montana and Alberta have a legend of the Old Man, the main divine being of their beliefs, when he created the pronghorn. Originally, he placed it in the mountainous forests like he did with the other bucks. But the uneven terrain caused the animal to trip and eat shit immediately after being created. He then decided that this was going to be a being that would stick to the Great Plains and hopefully not find any groundhog holes. Further south in what is now Arizona, the Hopi people used a kachina, which is a small statue akin to a totem that would help bring the rain and help grasses grow, which usually took the depiction of a pronghorn. And while they are very alert species, they are known to be extremely curious. Some native peoples would actually hide in bushes and wave a piece of cloth on a stick to bring them close enough to hit with a bow. Unfortunately, much like the bison, when the Americans started to conquer the Great Plains, the pronghorn would be subjected to the cold-hearted fury of manifest destiny. At their height, it is said that they could have had a population of 40 to 70 million, from Laredo, Baja California to Saskatoon, Saskatchewan. But by the early 20th century, they numbered as low as 13 to 20,000. One of their biggest obstacles, actually, is something that is pretty mundane, all things considered: the barbed wire fence. Unlike actual antelope, the pronghorn actually aren't good jumpers and will often opt to crawl under fences. Luckily, they have made a great comeback and have returned to 7 digits by the modern day. Now, this is mostly due to the fact that many cattle farms are starting to be more condensed and kept together, which has led to many organizations to buy up the old land and take away those fences, as well as allowing hunters to only occasionally go after them with tag limits and whatnot. And hopefully, in the somewhat near future, we may see the massive herds that our forefathers saw on the wild frontier. But until then, thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please leave a like, share, and subscribe. If you have any more facts, feel free to let them right in the comments. I would love to hear it. And until next time, go outside, touch grass, hug your loved ones, drink water. Bye bye.